Hello, it's Aaliyah from the Song of the Winds. I'm in full video mode today. This is my third back-to-back video. So I'm just going to sort of jump straight into it. What I wanted to talk about is our tarot certification. It's been a real hot button topic for quite some time, but recently it's resurfaced in a lot of the Facebook groups the tarot groups on Facebook. And I've already put in my 2 cents about it, and I've written a blog post about it, but there was just a few other additional thoughts I wanted to sort of put out into the world. I guess where I come from is I don't have any problem whatsoever with people that would like to get certified as being a tarot reader. I often wonder, where does it come from? Like, why do people get so upset and incensed and enraged, it seems, by the idea of people offering certification in tarot? And, you know, like, what's the motivation there? Is there something within them that just doesn't quite align with the idea of, what am I trying to say? With like organized formal study, is there a block there? But more to the point, more that I wanted to discuss, not so much people having a problem with it, but just the kind of comments that have been flying around. So I guess for me, the way I see the tarot community is, it is a community. These are your colleagues that you're engaging with online. You're sharing resources, you're watching their YouTube channels, you're reading their blogs, you're listening to their podcasts, you know, using all the free resources that they put out online. So the lack of respect that I'm noticing in the way that people discuss the idea of tarot certification is just a little bit concerning, because I do feel that we are colleagues. And if you turn this on its head, if you could imagine being in a face-to-face workplace, if you had some of those comments flying around that you know, people are making, I just can't actually see that happen. There's something about on the internet where you know, free speech in people's mind becomes consequence-free speech, and that's not a thing. Like, you're completely entitled to say whatever it is that you feel or think about any subject. I highly encourage it, but you can't expect there to be no consequence to what you say. So what do I mean by that? There's a consequence that the person or the people that are going to read that will be seriously upset and offended and hurt. And if there's a way to communicate something which avoids that, then I think in most of the time we should really try to do that. I don't see any point in creating divisions. I don't see any point in just kind of blowing off steam, because you're not just blowing off steam, you're actually hurting someone and hurting their business. So it makes me really upset and really cranky, and just, for lack of a better word, appalled at the way that some people have been talking about tarot certification. I don't think it needs to be done like that. Yeah, we all are colleagues, and I would never speak to someone like that I work with. And just because we're on the internet doesn't mean that, yeah, that we can just say whatever we want. You know, like, I get the impulse, I absolutely do. I'm a fairly political person. I'm very involved in, you know, things of a political nature, not only in Australia but in other countries, and I try and stay abreast of what's happening in the world. And you know, I've pretty much had to just stop reading the comment section of a lot of different, you know, Facebook pages and groups and articles online, because I can't trust myself to not completely lose my shit at people that, you know, just say the most appalling things. So yeah, that's kind of a way that I like to try and moderate myself somewhat. And I would just like to see, oh, I'm just looking out the window. There's a magpie chasing a kookaburra. Oh, it's so sad. He's landed. Kookaburra's okay. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, so if we could all just perhaps, you know, rein it in and remember that the people that are offering these certifications are actually reading what you're saying and have a professional courtesy, have a courtesy towards another human being, to not tear them a new one for no particular reason, just because you personally don't align with the idea of certification. It just doesn't need to be done. It really doesn't. And considering a lot of people are very, very happy to, you know, use all of the free resources that many of these people are, you know, providing, and they don't have any problem with that. They're happy to take the resources as they come, but in the same breath, you can't just try and set fire to someone's business because you don't personally align to it. It's not right. Yeah, not cool. Because you're not only disrespecting the people that are offering the certification, you're disrespecting the people that have gone through that process, and they're also your colleagues. So yeah, I'm just big on respect. I was brought up with manners. I've worked in industries where, you know, customer service and the way that you engage with people, the interpersonal skills are absolutely crucial. And I think that is the same with the tarot community. You know, you've got clients that are coming to you and you're sharing space with them, you're going through all of the really difficult things in their life, and you're there to help, you know, facilitate expansion for them. You're there to help them overcome blocks, to help, to heal, to coach. And I think we can do that better when we come from a space which is truly non-judgmental, and that has to go beyond just the way that you interact with your client. That has to go with the way that we interact with our colleagues and our friends and other people, other tarot readers and people that run highly successful tarot businesses, you know, with broad offerings including training. They also need our respect, and we should give it to them. Okay, so here's another way that we could look at it. I think at some point in our lives, all of us have received some type of abuse online, where someone has made, you know, a completely unfounded remark, or some sort of, you know, criticism that we've received, you know, whether it be on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or, you know, any of that sort of stuff. And as much as we try and ignore trolls, and as much as we try and just, you know, brush that aside, it hurts. And I think a lot of people have, you know, a hard time moving past it. It can really start to erode your self-confidence. So I just wonder what it must be like to hop onto a forum or a group or whatever, you know, where a whole bunch of your colleagues are just ganging up and just sort of mercilessly criticizing an aspect of your business. I don't think that would be very nice at all. There's something about human nature that I've noticed where if it's done in a group, it feels like, you know, it's not such a big deal, because we're protected by the group, you know, and there sort of becomes that pack mentality where everyone feels the need to express their opinion, even though it's probably been expressed ad nauseum, and you're not adding anything more to the debate. You're just kind of stacking on. It's yeah. I just know that I would not like to be on the receiving end of those kind of comments, and it would take an exceptionally strong-willed business person to be able to you know, come back from that and to just to continue on like normal. So my hat's off to people that offer tarot certification, and they've unfortunately had to read you know, not so nice comments about their business model by other people. Yeah, I just think you guys are amazing. Being able to do what you do, I really do, like the highest regard and respect. And also, full disclosure, although I haven't done any formal certification myself, if I ever had the time and the money, I think I would, because for my learning style, it would be beneficial for me. And like all of us, as we've probably all noticed, let's take free readings, for example. If you have a client or a friend that is, you know, or family member that's coming to you a lot for free readings, they don't tend to value things. They don't value that reading in the same way that they would if they had actually paid money for it. So that's a parallel that you can apply to, you know, tarot certification, where someone decides that they really want to, you know, dig deeper, and they really want to study, and they really align with the provider, and that they have you know, seen their work over a number of years and utilised a lot of their free resources and decide, yep, that's the person that I would like to have as a mentor for me, for my, my study. And they make that commitment and they pay the money and they get the certification. Now, whether that's something that they're then going to put over their website, or, you know, somehow sort of subtly used to imply as if their services are somehow better than another person's who hasn't been certified, I don't know. I can't speak for other people, but I can say that I myself do value things that I have paid for. If there's been a little bit of pain in the investment part of it, I am definitely going to value it a lot more. And I learn well with structure. Now, not everyone does. There's many different learning styles, and I do sort of touch on that briefly in my blog post. So maybe that's another way that might, you know, be of help for someone who's sort of struggling with the idea of certification and the way that the process works. You know, maybe you just simply have a different learning style, and that's perfectly fine. People have all sort of different learning styles. Yeah, that's sort of the little personal spin that I can put on it. If I ever had the time and the money, I would get certified, even if it was just something that I did for myself. I've done plenty of short courses. You know, I've done like certificate level things, you know, been to lots of different training that I've done through previous workplaces, and it's not the kind of thing that I would necessarily, you know, publicize, but I do it for myself because I enjoy learning. I enjoy keeping my brain limber. I like to challenge myself, and that is the way that I see tarot certification. So yeah, there's another layer to it that might help. That might help people that are sort of struggling to see it in a different light. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. My blog post is slightly more eloquent, I hope. But yeah, if you'd like to make a video response to this, great. I'll keep the conversation going. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. I just think we need to be more respectful and, you know, treat this as one of those I prefer tea over coffee kind of situations, not you're a complete fool for doing this, or, you know, blah, blah, blah. Just, okay, that's all for me. Thanks. Bye.